From the 12 News Studios, this is EVB Live.
And real estate expert Holly Henbest, there she is helping you protect your property in case of an emergency or even death. She's with us next on EVB Live. While we all like to think we're invincible, the reality is something unthinkable or tragic could happen at any time. So it's always best to have a plan in place to take care of our loved ones, especially when it comes to real estate. Our expert Holly Henbest is here to share why estate planning is so important and what your options are. And that's really true. I mean, you know, we try to save as much money as we can, but in the end, it's always our home that may be our biggest asset.
Absolutely. And not only do you want to do everything to protect your biggest asset while you're alive, but also you want to make sure you're protecting it if something should happen to you, not only in death, but also incapacitation. And so it's important to note that whatever directives you have, you want to make sure that things are in place, not only for your demise, but just in case, you know, we're an aging community and we're all living longer. We want to be protecting ourselves for if you're in a coma from a car accident, or also if you get Alzheimer's. So something I like to always talk about when it comes to real estate is make sure that your affairs are in order to protect your biggest asset. And while I'm not a lawyer, I do see a lot of things. So I do advise everybody, talk to your individual lawyer to see what best suits you.
And when you say a lawyer, do you mean a real estate lawyer?
No, you can just talk to any lawyer who deals with estate planning. So you would want to talk to somebody about what would be best for you in terms of documentation. And oftentimes people think about wills and trusts. So just a little education about the difference. A will is only going to be a benefit to you upon your passing. So there's no protection in there for you if you become incapacitated.
Right.
Whereas a trust can be put into place to protect you for both instances. So oftentimes a trust has a little bit more oomph to it, if you will, in terms of protection.
And what about, you know, we always hear once we find a career and we start making money and we get married and start a family, you got to have a will. Is there a certain age benchmark that you need to transition and also have a trust, or should they happen simultaneously?
Well, they're really two totally separate documents. So again, in terms of a will, that's going to be something that is going to give directives in terms of your wishes.
Right.
But a trust is typically going to be a better instrument to use when you have assets. So maybe you have a will.
Once you have a house, you should get a trust.
Once you have assets, you want to be protecting those in the trust for a couple of reasons. One, if you have children and you pass away, your children cannot inherit your home if they're under the age of 18. Whereas if you have your home in a trust, if you pass away, the trust now has that house, and through a trustee, they can be protecting it for your children. Same for a married couple. If one of you becomes incapacitated, that will isn't going to do you any good. It would be better to have a revocable or irrevocable trust to protect that asset on behalf of your marriage.
And then the other thing, Holly, is we always hear these nightmare scenarios about trusts and property being tied up in probate court. Is there a big backlog in Arizona?
There is. I just looked on the website yesterday for Maricopa Superior Court, and they said at any given time there's over 25,000 cases pending in probate. And oftentimes there's a little misnomer out there that people think, oh, my affairs are in order, I have a will. A will guarantees that you're going to go through probate. A trust will avoid probate. So again, if you're looking to keep things cleaner and simpler for your heirs, a trust can be a valid document to have.
And probate can be a long, drawn-out process,
It can, because really the purpose of probate is to determine not only who your heirs are, but if you have a will, they're there to determine the validity of a will. And a lot of times people think, I have a will, I did it online, I got it notarized, I'm good to go. But there's certain requirements to make it valid that may not have been met, and now you're going to go through probate to ensure that the will was valid, and what if it wasn't?
What about the cost of getting a trust done?
It really varies in terms of how much you have in terms of assets. I'm going to say a few $1,000s, and that can be money well spent. Again, if you were to pass away or to become incapacitated, you're probably going to end up hiring a lawyer then to go through the probate system and guide you.
Better to pay the money up front than send away for those forms you can get online and do your own.
It's kind of a pay now, pay later, and it's really a nice gift, again, to the rest of your family and heirs to take care of them before they're already really distracted with the sad news of something happening to you. That's the last time people wanting to deal with all these financial struggles as well. So it's nice to be prepared.
I learned something good today.
Okay, good.
So my family won't be picking over my bones when I'm gone.
No, we don't want that.
Holly, thanks.